All right, good morning everybody. Welcome to Ben's Brick Designs. I'm Ben, thank you for being here. A bit of a change of the setup today. Good morning Missy, good morning Dusty. If y'all were just on Dusty's stream watching him do some Minecraft stuff in studio, I agree that some things are easier looking than they end up being. That spider looked rough. That's an actual thing that you can do, I would suggest. Also, everybody let me know the mics and sound and video and everything's okay. I switched everything around so we could look at the build table so I could do some building. I might get farther away from the mic, and I apologize for that. Anyway, if you have studio, I would highly recommend building sets in studio to get started, to get used to it, follow the directions, get used to where the part placement is, how the software works. It'll help you kind of, if you're not familiar with Bricklink's terminology for parts, it'll help you get familiar with that. And if you have any questions about studio at all, you know where to find me. I've been doing it for a very long time. I wouldn't consider myself an expert, but maybe an advanced user. So yeah, hit me up. Next time we're doing a studio thing, just let me know. So we're going to do, if I can find my mouse, because everything's backwards now. We're going to work on this thing today. The tower itself is a gantry that holds this drivetrain. Goes into here, and there's a gear there that switches direction. Probably hold it up, it's not that fragile. It switches direction in there. And by the time it reaches this location, it's been geared down a little bit. So you can see it turns. When that turns, it turns the lighthouse bit on the top. The problem I run into is these bits right here poke the inside of this thing. This thing is hollow, but it's still filled with plates on the inside. And those plates that hold stuff together catch all the way down this. So what I want to try to do is keep the tower intact, the height of the tower, the workings up here, not change the gear ratio that much, but make the tower frame smaller, and rework this top because I lost the Fresnel lens up at the top here. So I need to put that back on. So that's what we're doing today. And if, hey, Dusty, fancy seeing you here. Thank you, Walter. Good morning. Good afternoon to you, Boa. It's not tarde. That's morning. Yeah, so welcome everybody. I hope your weekend's been going well. This camera's cutting off my head, but it's so I can walk over here and get parts. So let's get started. So this was the piece I lost. That's the piece I lost at Comic-Con. It is Boa Tarde. Tarde being later or afternoon. Fresnel lens. This is a type of lens that focuses the light. So the light will come up here, and I'll have to find the pieces for it. And it has a reflection. It has a reflector at the top here, and then it bounces out here. It's not the greatest. It's a piece of tin foil. I don't have the actual sticker, but it's just as reflective as the sticker. Problem is, it's not a super powerful light, so it's not. This doesn't do a whole lot. It looks cool, but it doesn't do a whole lot. So, the lens was free. I have a friend in the lug who visited Brick Can, another convention, because he sells t-shirts. He sells Lego t-shirts. I'm sorry, he sells interlocking brick system t-shirts. Good morning, Bev, how are you? And as part of their swag bag, they gave this out as like a cool piece. So he had a bunch of them, and he's like, I have a couple of these just sitting around. And I'm like, sweet. So it would have been cool to get it like that Saturday of the Comic-Con, but I'll take, and it's only like $1.40 on Bricklink anyway, so they're not that much. So I need to find the rest of these pieces. And I don't rightly know if I remember how this all got put together. So I may have to be making some of this up again. When you're in a rush to leave a convention, you're just like throwing stuff in bags and boxes. You're like, I'll deal with it when I get home. But in this case, I really do need to deal with it when I get home, because it needs to be rebuilt for another show later. Yeah, it is kind of fortunate. I was kind of figuring, like, our group has a pretty eclectic collection of parts, and it was just a matter of time before someone was like, yeah, I ended up with 2 of the lighthouses, or I built the lighthouse and took it all apart, and I don't really need this for anything else. That's kind of what I was hoping for. So this, make sure this doesn't get in the way of anything. This also doesn't feel, there needs to be another thing under here too. Because I don't like that this is this high. So this will end up going back up here, but when it turns, I'm worried that it's going to turn and hit this thing. So we're going to work on that for a second, because this is the reflector piece, just goes in there like that. Yeah, it's going to bump into that. I don't know why that's so high. I thought a bushing would take care of this, but it does not. So after this gets moved around a lot, the gears kind of get out of alignment. I can't see why that's not turning anymore. All right, that's good. This will all be redone a lot, I think, anyway. I'm trying to remember how I had this hooked up here. It wasn't just like that. So how is everyone doing today? How's your weekends going? Why do I feel like I'm missing more than just these pieces? Pieces are good. Anyone see any good movies? Ooh, that's a neat effect, whatever my camera's doing. All the black. Interesting. Going good? I feel like I need... So that was like that. But then what? Haven't seen any movies. Watching anything on streaming? Any cool shows? Anything you're binging right now? There we go. Fresnel lens back in action. And that light should reflect pretty well. Actually, it should be a little higher. Let's make that a little higher. There's been some announcements of new Lego sets that are out. I think like Fortnite brickheads. A couple of characters from that, I think, on display. I think the biggest thing about biggest news lately is, yeah, that's better. It's not terribly straight, but it'll work. All right, cool. So that's fixed. The biggest news lately seems to be the San Diego Comic-Con display that is the entire convention center. Like, it's one side of the front of the convention center, and then inside of it is like the entire floor. They said like 120,000 brick and like 80,000 minifigures. And then inside it, they also have a diorama of the San Diego Comic-Con Lego build. So it just, you could see it kind of infinitely being stacked. Russian nesting doll, fractal, whatever. So that's good. Stuff like that actually makes me want to get into more minifigure stuff. All my minifigures are mostly Star Wars. Like, I just have a giant 2-gallon bag full of, or I have 2-gallon bags full of Star Wars minifigures because I just need them for microfighters and stuff. But I generally don't buy sets that have minifigures, and I don't know what to do with them once I get them. So they're all just in individual bags. Like, this is the city bag, this is the Lord of the Ring bag, this is the Star Wars bag, you know. I don't know. I don't mix and match. I try not to. So I don't have everything sorted by head and torso and leg or anything. So been learning C+ for StreamerBot. Made a command to change my stream from unlisted to public so I can go live and then decide when people can see the stream. That's a great idea. I love that. All right, so now that the lens is done, I need to redo the frame underneath it. So this is going to be the hard part because I want to keep this up here while I do it, but I want to shrink everything inside of it. And you can already see, like, it's not, for whatever reason, I put it together weird. It's leaning funny. Like the axle's pointing a weird direction, and it just doesn't line up really well. The axle leaning funny is fine by me because it's very long and it's not really twisting anything out of sorts, so it's not really hurting anything. But the fact that this frame needs to be put together like this is a problem. I don't like it. So we're going to reduce this. This piece needs to be there to hold up the light. So you can't really see, I don't think. But the Technic light, no, you can't see it. So there is one of these. This is the light that comes with the lighting kit, right? It goes inside. It'll go inside a Technic plate fine. Like it'll sit there like that. And that's usually what they'll do is they'll put it in a brick or something, but it doesn't really stay there very well. Like if I just went like that, it wouldn't stay. So, well, that one actually did pretty good. I'm wondering if I can do that. The problem is it's not actually sticking in one of those. It's sticking in a Technic piece, so it needs to be held up. So that has to stay. Okay. Made a mistake of showing the kids we can swap legs, heads, minifigures. I've never done that. Yeah, I kept mine as close to how they got out of the box as possible, but I'm gonna try something real quick with this camera. Just seems really weird to be looking in two different directions. Is that better? Maybe a little better. Got two webcams up here now. That's a little better. Excuse me. So when I was giving the kids their sets, I would, they would have their own stuff and I would have my stuff. And I was like, you guys can play with my stuff too. If stuff gets mixed, that's fine. And I should have been more specific because it's the same thing. I ended up, we would give them storage containers. I wonder if I have one. Example storage container. It's an official storage container, right? For, it's dusty because I never use it, for Lego minifigures or Lego pieces, right? And so the youngest took all his minifigures apart. And so I've got buckets of minifigures without heads or, you know, and I don't know what torso they go with. Lots of these. So whenever I'm building a city of some kind and I need to fill it up with minifigures, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to that box or that bag and see what I can find. All right, so. Yeah. Just trying to figure this guy out. So I need this to be smaller to start. Which means this can be pushed in a little bit. This can be pushed in this way a little bit. So let's start there. I'm just so worried to take everything apart here. Although it fell apart at the convention. So let's move this in. The light looks like the train lights, but there's usually 2 lights with those. There are 2 lights with this too. Let's have these 4 apart. I'll show you here in a second. I also want to maybe light this a little better. So I was thinking of adding the one of the light kits to this as well. But yeah, there's one light that's up here. You can see the wire going up there. And then the second light just hangs down here. I don't need it for anything. What I try to do is snake it out. There's a hallway that's kind of connected to this. I try to snake it out there so it looks like there's light coming from in the hallway when this thing's on, but it doesn't go very far. It only goes, you know, once it goes inside here, so. All right, let's see. So that's good. Now I need trade this out for 8s instead of 10s. So you can see the sorting. This is why I like building right here, because everything is like right here. This is, everything's within reach. It's really fun to build lately because it's all right here. Okay, this goes away and this can go in here. This is an 8 and this is going to be an 8. Okay. So let's get rid of this. Move that away. You can kind of see what I'm doing here down at the bottom. Get that out of the way. Hopefully this stays up here. And this can come up. Okay. Good, 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 good. Good start. Haven't lost everything yet. This needs to come up. And this needs to come up. That's fine. That's fine. Like that dog in a burning room. This is fine. This is fine. I feel like a reconstruction surgeon, not an osteopath, but one of those where you're like, we have to break this in order to get it to work properly. I saw a real strange video on how they repair if you have, and just like the way they say it was so obvious. It was like, this is just a thing that we do to help people who need this part of their leg removed. And it was basically taking from their thigh to right above the ankle. And they take that whole thing out. And it's like, I guess if it's gangrene or if they've got cancer and they need to remove that section of the leg. But what they do is then they take the foot, which bends like this, turn it around, attach it back to the thigh, and this becomes the new knee. Right? So there's already a joint there. And then what they can do is then they can kind of reconstruct it. So the prosthetic is just on the end of the foot. And with training, you learn that flexing your foot, because it's the same nerves, is bending your knee. You just rewrite your brain. And I'm like, who does that, man? That's just weird. I also have a new light down there. So I know you guys have, anybody who's been watching previously was like, here's me complaining about going and finding parts and it's dark over there and I can't see. Well, now I can and it's glorious. It's wonderful. All right, so step 1's done. Now I need to make this whole area up here smaller. So this is now a much more compact, small base plan down there, and that'll work really well for the size of this. The test then will be to put this on over the whole thing and make sure it works. And this just sits over the top. It's hollow, right? So it just sits over the whole thing. It doesn't attach to the ground, it just sits. It's just a gravity build, if you will. So, all right. How wide is that? This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is 10. So that may be in the way, but I need to remove these guys or make those smaller. So I'm just gonna take this whole thing off. That's all there is to it. Take that gear out. Because I think I'm just gonna have to rebuild this whole thing. I think it's too layered with plates to be able to do nicely. So yeah, you can see the light is being held in there by that other plate because it's in that Technic bit, so it can shine through the top. There's that little light in there. But it's not solid enough to where I could just stick it up in there and have it stay. Like, I have to be able to make sure it stays up in there. All right, so only thing, like, I don't need any of this, these big things under here. Yeah. Actually, it does stay in there pretty good. That's actually okay. Good to know. I don't know why I thought I needed that in there, but I mean, it's a good thing to have. And yeah, it's just the train light. It's got 2 of them, and the other one attaches. This is the old power functions attachments. Do you even Lego, bro? I have this whole setup it's on this base plates, right? And then the house and the tower are turned at a 30-degree angle. Where are those bricks? Whatever that angle is. And then I use these to hold it in place. But they sit inside here. And it just sits. It's not attached to anything. It's big and heavy enough that it doesn't need it. And once you start, I try to tell people this a lot when I'm showing it off. I'm like, once you figure out that not everything, it's big and heavy enough that not everything needs to clip into a stud, especially with stuff like that. It's not like you're building this on a train and it needs to be still for a show, right? You can build it however you want. That's a little freeing. All right, I'm basically trying to get rid of these corners. So that needs to stay, but these don't. This is 2. That's 10, and that's 8. I'm going to reduce this by taking these off. Sorry, it's not in the camera right now. What I'm doing. Super exciting stuff, I tell you. Almost no reason for those underneath there other than to hold those together, and those can be done. Like, I think I made this overly complicated because I wanted it to be a little more stable, but I don't even think it needs to be that. That's all the big I need it to be. Cool. Now there's going to be parts up here that I want to put on as well to make sure I didn't lose like height or something. Like these corner bits that go on to fill the gap in between the top of the tower and the platform. So I want to make sure those still work. But I think that'll do better. And yes, you're going to hear the tinkling and clattering of small pieces because these seams are just overlapping. It's not a perfectly round thing, so these are overlapping and they come off every time I handle it, but it's fine because I can just kind of put them back on wherever. The problem is I think over time I'll end up losing a lot of these tiles because they fall and I hear them and I try to find them, but I find 80% of them, so just have to keep my eye out for it. Now the trick is to be able to put this on without having to like negotiate. Oh my goodness, that is so much nicer. Yeah. Okay. Here's the problem that I ran into with it the other day. And see how it's off? So, while this works, gonna have to figure out why. I think I've got too much rock work over here, so I may have to move it forward a little bit or take off some of that rock work. But I'm gonna try to get the panels, so yeah, let's try these other, no, I wanna make sure this fits. And this doesn't look like it's pushing any direction, and it went on beautifully. Yeah, like butter. Like butter. It's sweater weather. It's sweater weather. I can't wait for sweater weather. Yeah, it'd be easier to just move the whole rockwork thing back. Let me try that again so I can see where. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, so it wants to go to the end of that platform, and there's rocks in the way, and I'm okay moving those rocks as long as I make it so it still looks good. I can build up whenever. So like it's hitting right on this line of rocks, which this should be easy enough. I'm gonna try to keep them as they exist. So remember how to put them back on. Should have done that somewhere else. Okay. Because now I just got this big old thing over here. And I'll likely go back and get the rest of the plates so I can make sure. Oh God, that is so much nicer. So I can make sure that it aligns fine with the rest of the building, because I have a feeling now there's going to be a gap right here where it joins the hallway and the rest of the building. So next step is to like put all the plates out, line it all up. I don't need this to be exact. This doesn't need, rock work doesn't need to be exact. I don't have to keep it. Keep these just in case. Excuse me. These over here. All right. So this is good. This worked out really well. I'm going to put that light back in the top. See, now it sticks just fine. I wonder if I even need that extra. Well, you know what? I'm going to put it up there because I don't want this thing falling apart mid whatever. I want to do as little maintenance on site with this as I possibly can. Gear back on here. Cool. Okay. Good? Good. That all's very good. Okay. Make sure the roof all goes on now. And then we'll worry about the rock work and the placement on the whole thing. So this should I also need to make sure this all lines up right. The rock work on the bottom hides a lot of imperfections of the base and missing tiles and stuff, so if I lose stuff down there, I'm not too worried about it. And some of this is kind of squishy, so I'm wondering if some of it has come loose. And if anyone is curious, this is all swivel hinges on the bottom. And then you can see farther in there, it's click hinges. Can't really see. It's click hinges inside there that are being held together. But then it gradually steps closer together, so the click hinges are held with jumper plates on one level and not jumper plates on another level. I'm running out of these tiles, man. I keep popping off the sides here. I wish there was a better way to hold those. But all the inside plates holding the plates together are what get in the way of this, so. What's up, Cliff? We are working on fixing my MOC from this past weekend because it did fine, but I wanted it to be better. And so far it's good. So, I was gonna test the look at that. Oh, it's so nice. Okay. So let's test the roof here. So because this is hollow and comes on and off, I have to take the roof off every time. And the roof consists of these panels that are basically sit up here. And then like curved ones too. So I have to make sure, and I can already tell that it's not high enough. I could tell too because this gear shouldn't have that little bit of axle coming through. So before I do this, I'll take this back off. And hopefully I've learned my lesson to not grab it by the quarters. I'm trying to grab it by the flat spots. That should work. So this needs to be raised up. And I think the best way to do that take this gear off first. Get it out of the way of the light. Did I have fun at Brick Rodeo? Yes, it was a blast. I took Beth with me. She wanted to go so she could meet the Lego Masters and get all their autographs. And they had printed up cards, baseball cards. I may have one around here somewhere. Yeah, maybe I don't. I think Beth does. She has them all. She got all the people who were there, which is most of season 5, and a handful of people from earlier seasons. Both Tims were there from Houston, Tim Howell, Tim Hutchins. Crafty Bricks, Michelle Crafty Bricks was there. Crystal from season 1 was there. Trying to think who else. Louis Saladrigas was there. She got we won a silent auction and got a MOC from him, and he signed it for her. Trying to think of who else. But yeah, there's like 20 Lego Masters there in total. And that has large part to do with 3 of the teams being from Houston. So there was automatically 6 people there. And then just from past series, 2 of those teams are also from, I think both teams were from Texas. I think Tim Hutchins, though, is not from Texas. He may be from Oklahoma. Anyway, it was good for her to kind of meet these people, and she was having a real fun time watching Lego Masters. Anyway, she wanted to watch it initially because our friend Justin was in it. And after that, she kind of got hooked because it's a reality TV show and she loves reality TV. But then after that, she was having just a really good time looking at all the models, talking with everybody. She went to the Gay Fall meetup with our friend Justin, his husband Philip. And it was cute because I had a game to do right then. I was going to do whatever the game was. It was like, you get a table full of pieces and there's this guy named, he's Mad King Josh. He walks around and goes, the king wants something built it's a big monster. So build a big monster with many legs, right? So you start building and then he keeps adding on and on. So it's like, now it has to have 3 eyes. Nope. 1 eye. Nope. 5 eyes, right? And so he's changing as you go. It needs a big tongue. No tongue, but a big tail, you know. It's a lot of fun. You do it for an hour or whatever. And then he kind of votes on whichever one wins and then they get a prize. So I was like, well, I'm going to go do this game. Do you want to go with? And she's like, not really. I was like, why don't you go with Justin and Philip to the Gay Falls meetup? She's like, I don't want to crash that. I'm like, there's allies that go to that. She's like, oh, I feel like I'm tagging along. I don't want to do that. So I just walked up to Philip. I'm like, will you please take Beth to the Gay Fall meeting? And he's like, of course. It was really great. So there were a couple times she broke off and did her own thing, which I thought was neat. She went, she wanted to talk to this one person. She wanted to go see this one thing. And I was like, well, I'm going to go do this. We'll meet back in an hour. So it was nice that she was able to like kind of figure out her own thing. And now she wants to build mosaics. So I get a text from her and I'm like, she's like, can I like build something with your Lego? And I'm like, you can have access to like whatever you need. Go crazy, explore the space. So she built a turtle and a rainbow. These are her first official MOCs that she's done. Turtle and rainbow. She really likes sea turtles. She really likes rainbows. So these, we're keeping these, wherever she wants to put them. And she wants to do mosaics. So I kind of showed her how Studio does mosaics. And she wants to have a MOC next year for Brick Rodeo that's a big mosaic of her late dog, Allie. She loved this dog dearly. And so I showed her how to put a photo in Studio and how to have it build for her and how big and if you want the backing and if you want plates or bricks or tiles. And I was like, and even after you do that, you gotta get all the parts. You gotta figure out how to put them together. You gotta figure out if you want to put them together all in one big thing, how you're gonna transport it, how it's gonna be displayed, all this kind of stuff. And she's like, and you'll help me with that, right? I'm like, I don't know, maybe I will. This is your project, Let's see, I want this to go up by 1 plate. So I guess I'll just put some. Let's just get some more 2x6s in there. But yeah, we had a really good time. We have a story about sea turtles. We went to Hawaii a couple of years ago and we wanted to see sea turtles, but we don't scuba. The ladies and the kids all 4 have scuba licenses or certifications. So they went scuba diving and we stayed on the beaches and read, right? I'm not a huge water person. I'm okay with water, but it's not my favorite thing. I think I just want to do squares on that. Anybody else do this where even though it's going to be internal and no one's going to see it, it's got to all be the same color? So we go to Hawaii and we're on the beach and everybody else is snorkeling. We tried they went scuba diving. We stayed on the beach and we got some snorkeling equipment. We thought, well, we'll putter around out there. It's not for me. Like I've tried it and I'm just not. I don't, it's not that I don't swim, but I'm not very good at swimming and it frustrates me. So I just get really bent out of shape about it. And that's a me thing, right? Okay. It's better. Yeah, slightly better. I think it maybe has to be 2. Everyone does it with interior colors. Does everybody do that? They don't just go, it doesn't matter, green, whatever. What's up, James? How you doing? So we put her around a little bit. We come back. It's no big deal. We didn't, we're like, whatever. They take off, and then they come back. And they had a good time. So we went to another beach later where nobody was snorkeling or whatever. We just wanted to stop at a beach. And somebody said there are sea turtles at this beach. So we're like, okay. So I, of course, don't bring any snorkeling gear or fins or anything. I brought my swim trunks and a towel and a book because I'm the guy who sits on the beach and reads. And so Beth and I are sitting there and she's looking at her phone and I'm reading. And she's like, I'm going to go out in the water a little bit. I'm like, all right. So she goes out in the water and one of our friends, the moms, comes running back. And they're like, get over here. And we're like, what? They're like, sea turtles. So we throw our stuff down and we just go running off. Grab goggles. I think we had goggles. And the beach kind of ends in, how their beaches are kind of scalloped. And on the ends are like rocky outcroppings kind of thing. Near the rocky outcropping is where all the good food is. So, because that's where the currents kind of run into the rocks and drop everything off. And there's 100 or so sea turtles. Maybe less, maybe like 50-ish. But they're just everywhere, right? And they're probably about that big, right? So they told us when we got there, I forget who it was, I think it was one of the scuba divers instructors, was like, if you see any sea turtles, you cannot touch them. And don't swim over them. Because if they see like a shadow or something going above them, they panic and think it's a predator. And if they sense that there are predators in the area, they won't come back to that spot. So the idea is to keep them feeling safe so they come back and other people can enjoy it. So if you ever are surrounded by sea turtles, all you can do is like float. And if they bump into you, they bump into you, but you can't like reach out and touch them. So we go over there and we're just floating around, just looking at, and it's hard not to float over the top of them because you're on the surface and they're down there. So you're trying to swim out of their way, you're trying to drift out of their way and whatever. And one of them touched Beth's leg, like a flipper touched Beth's leg. And she immediately went home and got a sea turtle tattoo on her leg because of that. So that was fun. We had a really good time. The problem I think we ran into mostly was it was kind of a quasi honeymoon because we hadn't done a honeymoon yet, really. And the problem was we were there with Cheryl and Claire and the kids. So it was like, I think that'll work. Yeah, that should work nicely. But yeah, we had a great time. And yeah, it was a honeymoon, but we were with family. So it wasn't really a honeymoon, but we still had a very good time. So, making sure this all works before I start putting the other plate on and worrying about stonework and where it sits on the plate and how it hits the hallway. I want to make sure this all looks good because I can already tell it's a little off-centered. Yeah, it's a little, there we go. That's all I needed to do was slide it over. Okay, perfect. That looks great. So now what the stonework is going to do on the back side here is, and I think I need to put some other tiles under here so I can figure out, this is all going to need to be realigned on the plate with the hallway and the rest of the building because I think there's going to be a gap and I need to account for that. But this goes together much better now and I'm very happy with it. Went to Cali last summer, went to the beach with the fam, second time slept in the car. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Can't wash my hand now, the sea turtle touched me here. So yeah, it brushed up on her calf and she's like, that's where, and it's just a simple little line. It's like a tattoo like that big and it's just simple lines. It was like 60 bucks or something. All right, so this worked great. This is where Ringo touched me. I must get a tattoo. All right, I'm very pleased with how this worked out today. Very, very happy. So this is now a dreamsicle. Works great. All right, so I think all this needs to move back. Big separator. So I think this is going to sit on the edge here now. Yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen the San Diego Comic-Con build, it's super cool. Go check it out. Everybody and their brother's posting it. And it's funny watching all these people post it and go, you know what'd be funny is if they put another little display in the model that's of the San Diego Comic-Con Lego build as they're panning by the sign that says San Diego Comic-Con and a little Lego build inside the Lego build. And all the way, it's turtles all the way down. I'm like, you guys are there recording this video and you don't see that? It's right there. So, nerp, nerp, nerp. Okay, so that should hold it up there. I think this needs to go over here. I need another one somewhere. We'll figure it out when I set it all up. All right, next thing. Pull this back. Don't need these. So that one is yellowed and it needs to be put with the tile. Pile of yellowed bricks, or bricks that are, yeah, yellowing, that need to be soaked. No, the turtle is a Beatles joke. Beatle, you know, John, Paul, whatever, touched my hand here, and now I can never wash this hand. Oy. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside. That's aside. So now this will be a treat. I'm gonna set up the whole rest of the model. And by treat, I mean you guys can log off if you want. I'm sure this isn't gonna be fun for anybody. But it needs to happen. Plus I can go through all these boxes and find out what tiles I was missing. So I know what to replace. The rock work all comes loose, the tiles go missing. Oh, you don't have to do that. I appreciate it though. Thank you, Dusty. Thanks for being here. I mean, you can leave it on in the background if it helps, if me talking about stuff puts you to sleep. I ask Beth that all the time. I'm like, do you want me to read to you? Would that help you sleep? And she's like, no, that would bother the crap out of me. Okay, fair enough. I just thought it'd be fun to read until somebody fell asleep, but she's not 8. Let's see, room over there, not knocking stuff off. A tile and a piece of brick. This can go in here somewhere. This can go over here somewhere. All right. Okay. I had to cut this tile. I'm so sad. I had to snip the corner there so I could run the cable out underneath it. And I knew that was going to happen. But it worked pretty well. Okay, don't need this side. Don't need these two sides. I always forget how this gets set up. Have you seen the new hotness that everybody's been doing with their base plates? I think it's newer base plates. And I don't think I have any newer base plates. I'm trying to think if I actually have. Where do you go off to? All right, so I don't have any plates for the new ones, but apparently the newer ones have smaller holes on this side, on this corner. Because what people are doing is taking these pieces and putting them here like that. And then when you tip it over, you can put it on another plate. So you can put a couple of these in here. And it becomes kind of a Mills plate, if you will, right? It'll raise it up slightly. But this is technically not a legal build because this is gonna stress out these holes with that little pip and the weight put on it. So, but I think they're making some with smaller holes on the corners specifically so you can do that. And I'm like, that's really weird. So instead of like building a Mills plate like one of these, this is like a hyper extended Mills plate. It's too tall. I think a regular Mills plate is like a plate and a brick, or maybe just a brick. And then it fits, like you can run cable under it and stuff. But yeah, so this, you can put like a couple of these, right? And then like a plate or two under that, whatever makes it that high, and then stack this on another. So The reason that's a good technique, and I'm not condoning it because it's not good on the plates, it stresses things out, and these are kind of hard to get. Like, they're not everywhere. They're more frequent, they're more common now than they used to be. But in order to get a ton of them, it's not cheap. Anyway. Nope. Go somewhere else. Corner. The whole reason to do something like that is, let's say you have a modular and you don't want to tear it all apart to make it fit with your Mills plated city. Let's say you have a city and everything else is Mills plated, but this one modular you have. So instead of tearing the whole bottom off or tearing the whole thing apart just so you can Mills plate it, you just stick those little pieces underneath on the base plate and then put it on top of another plate, and then you can at least raise it up so the sidewalk meets all the stuff. So that's one good use for it. Again, I'm not saying that that's good for the brick, so I wouldn't do it as a long-term solution, but it's at least a good interim solution. I need a better something over here. I usually do a gate, one of these things, but that'll do. All right, so I need the house. Let's put this in here first, see what it looks like. So this is gonna line up, oh wait. That's what was causing problems the other day. That's the whole time I was at the Comic-Con, I was like, why is that leaning funny? Because this was underneath. It was like the Princess and the Pea. I couldn't figure it out. What's up, Brick Pasta? Was Dude in here earlier? I didn't see Dude. Where's my mouse? Yeah, I hadn't seen him come on, but cool. All right, so that fits okay. That's fine. I leave this area open, and I've got a hole in here for all the wiring to go into. This was originally built to hold a hub. Like so, right? So it was originally built to slide a hub in here. And I have this, and it might still work. This now is full of, oh, it's tied down. This is full of fake batteries. It's full of dummy batteries, like that. That go in here. You get a set of 8, and this only takes 6. But then it's got this wire that comes out into that, which is kind of a transformer. Into this. This is a lot of setup. Right? So now it's not battery powered. It's actually physically powered. And you can hook up whatever motors and stuff. The problem I ran into is the motor connection for this was weird and the light connection was weird, and I don't know why I decided not to do this, but it works fine. And then you've got it switched to tell it, 9 volts or whatever amperage you're using, 3 amps, I think it needs, ampules. So this works just fine. But this is basically what I've got now. Let's see if I have any extra. I just have this going. Just a regular old motor with the old connection, and then where I put all my stuff. Well, I don't have it on me apparently, but it's basically a wired. I needed to check that too. It's just a wire that is wired into one of these from a plug. And a friend of mine in the lug did that. He had a couple he said I could use. So, but I think it's just the wiring is coming loose from the adapter, and when I try to put it in here, it doesn't work really well. So I'm gonna have to go back and see if I can fix that. So the main thing right now is just to see how the tower sits on here. And see if we need to make any adjustments on how far back it goes. Oh, well, I'm gonna start saying that to everybody who comes up. Hey, dude, Jude. Okay. All right, so that's in the way. Lots of rock work that's in the way over here now. Oh, that's in the way too. Well, I may not need that. What time is it? 11:15. So I'm trying to get Beth on here again to build. I think everybody likes listening to her and talking with her about stuff. So I'm trying to get her back on. But she works. I think as long as I've got these two bricks over here, that's fine. I may have a plate. Do I have plates like that? Yeah, that should work. Okay, cool. Cool. Do we lose music? Yeah, we lost music for a second. All right, so this fits okay, that fits okay. That needs to go away. Thing seems to line up okay. tile under here. Yeah, but you can't really see it. So I can show you here. But because I adjusted everything now, there's a huge gap right here. Which is fine because I can fill this in. The gap is here because the tower got moved. The framework is the same location, and I didn't move any of the gear stuff inside. This is in the same location. I just move it up like this. I gotta get that, oops, I gotta get that centered. And then figure out where to put all the tiles. So I gotta get that centered with that. That, and then put on all the tiles and rock work. But yeah, it looks like there's one brick difference in there. So I might be able to rebuild this and extend it out one brick so it sits flush with that, and hopefully it sits flush with this. So let's work on that for a little bit. And put in some tile around here so when it sits, it's not wobbly. It needs a tile base around here so it's like a ring, so it's nice and uniform. But in the meantime, you just need to extend this out one brick. Should be easy enough. The right color brick. A bag of that. And we're going to also extend this top part, which is one solid thing. So we'll have to change that. To keep this nice and stable, do a 3 and a 5, or a 3 and a 2 to get a 5. So if anybody's still not playing Death Stranding, if you're a gamer and like open world games, I would recommend it a lot. It is, I can just do this whole thing. One of the better games that I've played in a while. If you liked the first one, you will like this one. It's basically the same game, just more of it. Not a whole lot of changes to it otherwise. There's some additional characters. And but the gameplay is pretty much the same. It's the walking mechanic, inventory maintenance game that has to do with the end of the world and dying things and ghosts, or Hideo Kojima's version of ghosts. There, extended out one thing. Just do the other side. Same thing. It's very cool. I like it a lot. going to be a little different because this just needs to be one brick there. It also comes with a lot of music, and I can't wait to download the soundtrack for it, because the soundtrack is just blissful. It's so nice. It's like a weird mix of like dance tunes and lo-fi, and there's actually like a dance video in part of it. So there's a lot to explain about the game. If you've never played it, it's hard to kind of quickly get through it. But needless to say, you have a doll with you. His name is Doll Man. When he died, his essence basically was put into a small marionette guy. He's got a suit and like nice hair. He kind of looks like Diego Luna a little bit, but he's got kind of a weird accent, like I don't know, Italian, something like that. Anyway, he's about that big. You clip him to your belt when you go on missions, and you can throw him up in the air, right? He's on like a big string, and he becomes like a scout, right? You throw him way up in the air, and he kind of hovers up there, and he looks around for you, and you can look at enemy bases and mark things, and then he zips back, right? But at one point, you're listening to, like, you have a music player and you've got a bunch of songs, and so you can pick which songs you want to listen to. But also, there's this time where he's like, oh, I remember this song. This was a good song. And so he says, would you like to hear this song? And you, of course, pick yes. And then he jumps off of his little ring thing onto the table and starts dancing. And then there's like holograms of more of him dancing, but then the main doll man turns into the guy who actually made the song, and it's like a whole like K-pop bunch of people dancing together music video on the table, and your Norman Reedus character is just sitting there like jamming along. I'm like, what am I watching? Like, this is really weird. But that song has come up quite a bit during the game because it's just on rotation, and it is actually a really good song. I'm like, oh, this is so sad that I'm really liking this song. There's a handful of songs on there that are very good, and I do want to get the soundtrack for it. Except Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. That's one of the songs that plays over and over again. There's a component of the game called Timefall. Instead of regular rain, you've got this stuff called Timefall. And there is regular rain, but there's also Timefall. And Timefall basically, if it's rain that comes from the beach, which is why it's called Death Stranding. Things are stranded on a beach, and the beach is like the area between life and death, and things get stuck there, hence the name Death Stranding. If you experience a Death Stranding, that means you're stuck on that beach. I'm just going to put a white brick right there. And beached things come back and try to get you and drag you under. And if they do, you are a repatriate, which means you can come back to life. But if that happens, it causes a void out, and it's a giant crater in the world. And I don't like leaving craters, so I make sure to, like, you can go back and load and pull up a saved game and just start from there again. Because leaving a crater wipes out, like if it happens near a settlement, it wipes out that settlement, right? Takes all your gear with you. You got to kind of start over. It's not pleasant. So I'm like, why would anybody not just go back and try this again without dying? Let's see. All right, so this should work a little better now. I'll line that up. Oh, come here, you. Remember, pick it up at the flat parts. Don't pick it up on the corners. I'm so happy with how smooth that is. And it even kind of settled in place somehow. So that's great. That looks nice. And I have a little bar right here. It's a little steampunk bar that just goes right here. And it kind of hides that seam a little bit. So that's good. Okay. What about the other side? Don't care. Nobody's really going to see that side. Great. All right, so now the trick is we're going to get the big house and put it right here. Make sure it fits. Trying to find out what happened to that motor. Yeah, see these angled bricks? This is just to know where the house goes. That's all that's there for. And again, friction, or not friction, but gravity, making sure that this just sits here. So it should connect to that. Now the trick is, yep, that works perfectly. Okay, awesome. There's a little roof thing that goes on here. I have to put an extra bit on that. This is just a roof that covers this section. It's got a gap right there, so let's redo that. So I'm just trying to extend this by 1, which means I'm gonna do that. Switch up that color. There we go. Nice. Okay. That all works. Super happy with that. Save scummer. I don't know what save scummer is. So now I need to do the rock work around here and change some of these tiles so it sits better on the tile. And I might need to put some plates down in here to have some tiles up in there, but I can start. All right, so all this can go back by one. Whoops, one brick that way. And then fill in this area with rock work. I think that'll work. Cool. Oh, save's coming? Yeah, it does. I mean, I do that. Everybody who's ever had games where they're like, all right, this section's gonna suck. I know it. I'm gonna go ahead and save. And if it doesn't work, I go back, you know. I don't know any time where I'm like, nope. Especially this game where there's consequences to if you fail. Like in other games, you just die. And it starts you back at a certain point. But you can also like, if you've built up your inventory or your power level or your abilities and you like exhaust all those while fighting this thing and then you die and it starts you over a certain point minus all that stuff, you're going to want to go back to a certain save point. This one is like, you died, we're erasing this part of the map. And I'm like, oh, why would anybody want that, you know? Anyway. So, yes, I do that a lot. I didn't have to do that in Horizon all that much, but that's where this goes. But this one especially, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this all the time. And that's gonna dot on somebody's foot, I bet. There's an empty dot there. Okay, what's next? Fill that up with plates and tiles. Move these tiles back. Those tiles are fine. Move these tiles back this way. Cool, cool, cool. Anybody missing anything? Okay, I guess get to it. Do it, lady. It does sound like a dirty word. Are you saves coming again? No! Does that line up? Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Oh man, I wish there was a better way to do this. These just don't stay on. I have a bag of these. So this is left over from the sidewalk part of the build. I just had a bunch of these extra ingots and whatnot. I'm gonna fill all these up and I'm gonna lose them all again. Yeah, there was just, you guys have seen it if you've been to like the Comic-Con thing or I guess Brick Rodeo. We did it at the Pflugerville Library thing too. I would just sit here and be like clink, 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 clink. It was just so frustrating. This needs to move over here. And then I need another one of those. Go here. Don't let my report of saves coming turn you off to the fact that it's a really good game. But, and I say this, it's a really good game. I can see it not being everyone's cup of tea. It is a little... It can be a little monotonous, and if you don't like open world and walking around looking at really pretty graphics and listening to music, it's not great. But there are times when you can fight, there's combat. You can harvest materials to build bridges and bridges and roads to help other people navigate. I love the little areas in here where I'm like, oh, I have to have that in here. Nobody's going to see that. Who cares? If I've learned nothing from repeated viewings of my models, is that it doesn't matter what I try to set up and how good I think the internal areas look and whatnot, is that Lasso is going to show up with a handful of alligators and all the kids are going to be like, look, alligators. And you're going to be like, well, I guess it didn't matter if I spent all that time trying to get the perfect rock thing going because alligators. So I guess the moral of that is don't stress about really small stuff. Take care, James. See you soon, hopefully. I guess in a few weeks. Nothing really going on in August. So I guess I'll see you sometime in September for any one of the events we've got going on, or just a meeting. Okay, that feels good. So now I can start putting in rockwork. Are there corner bricks like these, but flat corner. Oh yeah, you know what? There are facet bricks. Facet bricks for the win. Perfect. Yeah, great. That'll at least tell me where I can line this up. Good, good, good. Where did those go? Tiny alligators for the win. All right, let's finish this rock workout. Oh, perfect. This took 2 hours. Don't need that anymore. I'm also excited for Ghost of Yotoi is going to come out soon. That should be fun. If you liked the Sword of Tsushima, you should like this one pretty much. I have a feeling it's going to be the same game type. Open world. Lots of exploring. Big story, very pretty. Yeah, can't wait for that one. Just bring a water plate and put a few alligators or any tiny baby-sized animal. Yeah, pretty much. Also, just apparently Blacktron everything. I'm gonna do this on several. Of these. I realize I'm working on the other side of the model here. It's hard to see anything I'm doing. Try to make this a little heftier back here, because I took away a lot of stonework that kind of leaned against the tower in order to get it built properly. So now I need to make sure to build it back up. But for some reason the plate that I'm building on is real weak, and I don't know why. Yeah, it's like the corner of it pushes down too far or something. Can't get that piece out. I used to have my surgical clippers, but now I'm just cascade failures. One part won't come out. So the whole thing comes off. There. The other thing I need to do is put another brick down in here and raise that up a little bit. Got a whole lot of room back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do 6. So what does everybody have planned for this week coming up? Any fun outings? Anything you're looking forward to? I need to do this side. bigger. Any movies you want to see? Y'all seen the Superman movie yet? That's a good one. Do you recommend that one? Any Lego sets you're looking forward to getting? Got a couple things coming out. August 1st. I don't think Soundwave's coming out August 1st, but I can't remember. If it is, I definitely want to get it. Nope. Don't know what other sets are coming out soon. I have forgotten, but I'm sure there's some good stuff. Shit. Keep doing that. Alright. I think that's enough for today. Keep losing pieces back here. Yeah, that's good for today. What time is it? 57, perfect timing. I will, just got Japanese maple tree. Nice, that is one that I still haven't got. I would like to get that. A fine addition to the botanical series / tranquil series. I want to get the tranquil garden and the maple tree. I think that'd be very cool. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I know this was kind of mandatory, needful work that gets done. Everybody kind of goes through this with MOCs that they've got. I'm trying to make it more stable for travel because I want to keep it for about a year to show in Austin next year. The next part of the project was going to be, I have to find the motor that went with this and redo the wiring. So that may be something. Anyway, it's probably not something I'm going to do on stream, but we'll figure it out. So this coming Thursday, I think I'm still streaming. Check my calendar, nothing pops up. So this Thursday, either studio work or a couple sets to do. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But you guys have a good rest of your day, good Sunday. I hope everything goes well for you. If you got any plans or anything, and I will talk to you all again soon.